So hello, everybody.
So we are already live. I don't want to take any time away from you, so the stage is yours. Good luck.
Thanks a lot, Matthias. Thanks for having me today. I'm presenting TubeSolar AG. We are a manufacturer of unique, innovative solar modules and are located in Augsburg, close to Munich in Germany. So actually, these days, or not only these days, probably the next years, we are facing just three major issues or problems. First of all, it's the need to achieve the climate goals. Just for Germany alone, it's planned to up to 4 times more solar capacity needs to be installed by 2030 to meet the very ambitious sustainability targets. The same is related to what is needed on a global basis just to meet the global roadmap to achieve just a 1.5 degrees Celsius pathway to 2050. The next very important issue is that the world food supply needs to be secured. There's demand for farmland. It's just the demand for farming is just increasing, and it's the need obviously to feed the growing population globally. And third, we can just see it every day in the newspaper or just in the media. There is a strong need to be more independent with regard to energy and energy suppliers. So that means that states or countries just want to become more independent, but also corporations just want to become more independent on energy suppliers. This is just very clear, as everybody can read every day in the paper. Now it's getting even more crazy with regard to the crisis worldwide, and for example, the problems in Ukraine. And our product is actually just addressing all the 3 areas. So that means obviously our product is from renewable energy area. And also with our agricultural use, we will help just to save the world food supply. And third, of course, we are addressing the dependency issue, the problem. Just with our product, you will be more independent because you're just generating your own electricity, your own energy. So our vision is our next level solar technology makes it possible to meet the global energy demand by dual use. I will tell more about this just in a few minutes, of only 1% of the use of agricultural land. We are also very keen or very, very convinced that we are, so to say, ESG compliant. That means that our innovative technology is a synthesis of green tech, of climate tech / clean tech, ag tech for agricultural tech, and food tech, and is supporting at least 7 of the sustainability development goals established by the United Nations. And this is not only related to our product itself is green and ESG compliant, but it also relates to our technology, which is also ESG compliant. That means that we have a very innovative production, and for example, we are not using any silicon in our photovoltaic paper. Our solution is a patented technology. Our modules are just solar modules, and they are totally different to the commonly known flat modules. Our modules are each module is just 1 square meter consisting of 20 tubes. And in between each tube, there's a space of 2.5 centimeters, just free space, in order to let rain and sun go through through the spaces. Why this is necessary, I will tell you in a few minutes. So we see exponentially growth market worldwide, a very, very strong market demand. I will tell you later a little bit more. I will tell you about our technology. We have a patented technology with many significant advantages over the flat modules. Our highly automated production facility is located in Augsburg and it's just in the process to be ramped up. We have already a pipeline on hand, which is just exceeding the 250 megawatts we plan to set up with our production facility here in Augsburg. Our management is very international and very experienced. I will tell you later on. So this is just a growth trend just for Germany, and it shows what just has happened from 2012 until 2021. The installed agri-photovoltaic capacity has just grown from just 5 megawatts in 2012 to more than 14 gigawatts in 2021. But we also see tremendous growth perspective just from a global perspective. We see a global market. This is very dynamic development of agri-photovoltaic technology in almost all regions in the world. And there are, of course, related government funding programs. For example, here just you see it started more or less in 2010, just with first agri-photovoltaic systems, and then just some law with regard to that, the Renewable Energy Act in Germany, Italy, and France. And then you can see that there are many funding programs just for many states, just showing that there's a global market. Just coming back to Germany, but only as an example, in Germany, the installed capacity needs to be increased to 200 gigawatts by 2030. That means that the current capacity needs to be just increased 4 times. It's a very ambitious target, obviously. And there's just a strong policy objective behind it. So according to just legislation in Germany, the power supply is to be based almost entirely on renewable energies by 2035. And photovoltaics alone, as part of renewable energies, are expected to be expanded to 400 gigawatts until 2040. So this just underlines the very ambitious targets. We are state funded, so we just received money from the government here in Bavaria, in Germany. We have been funded with 2.8 million euro, but we expect more. Just coming to the block technology. So our technology is basically a patent we have bought from Osram, from Ledvance, and then developed further. It's a very innovative product. It's the PV paper we put inside a tube, in a glass tube, as you can see here on the picture. And we do this by using a specific technology. It's the 6 technology. It's copper, indium, gallium, and based on the materials that go into the paper. And we put it into the glass tube. And this is, as I said, it's a patented right. The good thing is it's just based on the curve. There's a higher yield in the morning and in the evening hours compared to the conventional flat modules. And this is also very important with regard to sustainability and the green energy effects. We don't use any silicon in our PV paper. As I said, our technology is a patented right. We have just a patent secured in 28 countries, including the US, and are just currently in the process to exceed our patent right to other countries in Asia, for example, or Israel, we will cover as well. Very important to acknowledge here, to tell you, is that we always will do R&D work. And just 3 weeks ago, almost 3 weeks ago, we just gave out a corporate news, just telling everybody that we're also working on the perovskite technology. This is a very interesting technology. It enables just a very high performance, a very high yield, and on the other hand, just with very low production costs to produce the solar cells. And the problem so far is that, well, many are just doing research on that. In the past, it was just, there have been many yield records established already, but the problem was that all the yield records were just established on very, very small space, on very small paper. So, and our idea is, well, the problem in the past and what we're gonna change is just to bring this technology to become a more competitive, large-scale, commercialized technology. On this slide, you can see what we have announced just 3 weeks ago, that we made our own yield record with 14% on the roll-to-roll basis, a specific technology. But this is very important to understand. We just did it on a bigger space, on not a kind of millimeter space. So, and as I said, the perovskite technology enables just to gain higher efficiency, higher yield, with lower production costs. And this obviously is a very good combination. And we want to commercialize it for our solar modules. On the right side of the slide, you can see just a graph. And this is probably how the future will look, that you have a tandem perovskite cell, just a 6 cell we're already using, and just to put on top of it or just below to put a perovskite cell, in order to increase just the yield, the efficiency of the solar cell. What is displayed here is just for a tandem perovskite cell using silicon, but we don't use it, as I just said. So what are the areas of application of our product? We see 3 areas. Actually, we will just have them to combine what you see in the middle and on the right hand. We will just combine in one segment, in one division probably. So there will be first division agri-photovoltaics. Everything that has to do with farming land will be just fall under this category. And then we will have a second division, which is green building and parking lots and stadiums, where we have more and more just inquiries and just demand coming from the market. We will just put under the green building umbrella, so to say. There's another function which becomes more and more popular and famous, and more just architects are just contacting us and asking us for our modules. It's the design function. It's they just found out that not only it's good to have just power and electricity gaining from our modules, but they also found out in the market that the design element is very attractive. And this is, for example, just our tubes are displayed here in the garage. Then a very important slide to understand our product is just how we are just different in comparison to the conventional flat modules. Our unique selling position. Our USP is just to opening new energy sources based on a dual use, meaning you use your agricultural land or green building, and this simultaneously was just generating electricity. As I said, our modules are just in that they have just a free space between the tubes, and this is just to enable light and water to go through the tubes, and also wind goes through the tubes, and this leads to a very lightweight construction just for our modules. Also, the shading, the partial sharing is good. It just reduces water demand. It protects the plants below the modules from excessive sun exposure and provides higher agricultural yield for certain crops. This is being measured also by Fraunhofer ISE, by an institute, where they're just saying for specific crops, actually the partial shading of our modules is just good for the growth on the ground. So not only that you can generate electricity, you have also more yield with your agricultural land. Also, our modules provide protection from heavy rain and hail. This is very important as well. And just by the use of agricultural land, the agricultural vehicles remain possible. They can go through our just modules, because our modules are just constructed and they're on top, and all the the machinery you need to go through on your farming land can go through. As I just said, we have our manufacturing facility, our production facility located in Augsburg. So we are made in Germany. We have a production process that cannot be copied. And we have a scalable automated manufacturing site. So that means we plan to we set up our first factory here in Augsburg, and then just to replicate this production facility to other places in the world. Just everywhere we can see just demand and market, and this is almost everywhere. So that might be the next step, just to have a factory located in Australia, in Asia, or for example, in the US. This is just a picture of our production facility, so it's not kind of, this is the real picture. It's just one story below me, where you can see that molding machine. The next slide is just to give you an indication of the potential we see in the market. Currently, we are just setting up our production facility here to gain 250 megawatt yearly production capacity. And we are just receiving demands or inquiries from the market on a constant basis. So almost every second or third day, known corporations are just calling us in order to find out about our product. Very well-known corporations. And we have a so-called potential list where we just summarize all the potential requests. And I just put together this slide, just structured this into 3 buckets. You can see just 3 buckets. The small bucket is just inquiries where just main corporations or big landlords and farmers are just contacting us, and we are just in first communication with that persons. And the second bucket, the big one, is just where we are in negotiations already, actually over a long time, over weeks or even months. It's just a process. They want to get to know our product, and usually they visit us here in Augsburg to look at our production facility, to look at our product. And the third bucket, the 55 megawatt bucket, is just a bucket where I put every just inquiry or just the contacts from the market in, where we are just before contract. That means we are very fine in our negotiations. And this is already, this sums already up to almost 350 megawatts. That shows that just demand inquiries coming from the markets are already exceeding the 250 megawatt, which is the targeted capacity. We are just in the process to ramp up. And this also based on just a scenario that we don't do any marketing at the moment. We don't do any marketing at all, but they still know about us already in the market, and they're just contacting us to find out more. We have an international experienced management. You see my colleague, Jürgen Galliner, our Chief Technology Officer. He has more than 20 years of management experience. He's coming from Osram, so he's coming actually from the source from the corporation where we just obtained and bought our patent. And you see me, I have just experience in broad experience, I would say, in consulting, but not only. I also was I've also experienced from just being part of incorporation, for example, in group accounting and capital markets. This is our contact. And now I have some appendices I want to show you. This is just to show you again just the photovoltaic global expansion. It's at a very high level. You can see when you look at 2022, photovoltaics are expected to account for 60% of total renewable energy growth just in 2022. So in the global commissioning of 190 gigawatts is expected in 2022, and this is just compared to the year before, to 2021. It's just an increase by 26%. it shows how important just photovoltaics is with regard to renewable energies. The next slides just shows an analyst forecast from First Berlin. First Berlin is covering our corporation. And well, these are not my data, it's just data from First Berlin. And their most recent report is just from February this year. And it shows a target price of €7.50. This is just our share at a glance. You can see that our market cap at the moment is just €55 million. And we are listed at stock exchanges in Düsseldorf, in Munich, and in Frankfurt. The next slide shows just the competitive levelized cost of electricity, the LCOE. That's a very important indicator whether we are just competitive with our production costs, with our planned production cost, as well as with our targeted price, unit price for each module. And we have just 5 places actually in the world, as you can see, from LA, Malaga, Rome, Milan, and Augsburg, where we do our yield measures with our modules. This will be safeguarded by Fraunhofer ISE. They support us on this just to getting the right data. And there is just a range promulgated, just published by the Fraunhofer Institute for Solar Energy Systems as an external body, as an external institute, and they have their range of LCOE costs. And the good thing is that with all our 5 measuring points, so to say, we are within this range. So the best results, of course, we have in LA, in Los Angeles. Why the best results? Because we have the lowest latitude. And of course, the sun exposure is just optimal there. And we have the lowest results in Augsburg, which is not a surprise because latitude is much higher. But still, the good thing is that for all 5 just cities, we are within that range. And this gives me a very good indication that the projected sales price of all 4 modules is just within a reasonable range. On this slide, you can just see energy prices. This is just for Germany, just to give you an indication. We are just working on just studies or comparisons like this for many countries, and together with an agency, with Becker Büttner Health, and we plan to establish just things like that for different countries on our website in the future. But here you can see, as an example, as I said, for Germany, that just agri PV TubeSolar energy is just cheaper than just buying energy from the market in Germany based on the electricity mix we have currently in Germany. Well, this slide just shows, well, I call it the peer analysis, but for us, it's actually not really a peer analysis, because we are very confident we don't see just competition. We don't see real peers. We just see 2 other companies that have just a product out, which on the first glance appears a little bit similar to our product, but when you look a little bit more detailed, then you will see that it's just different. These 2 companies are next to sun. They are producing solar fans, but they have many, in our view at least, they have many disadvantages, their product, because just where there is no solar fan, you obviously cannot generate any power, any electricity. So that means with all the space between the solar fans, there's just farming land and nothing else, and there's no dual use possible as it is possible with our product. And there is a product out by BayWa, which is, this is just simply a flat module which just put on a construction. And the problem is that the flat modules in general are much heavier than our modules. Our modules have just a weight of approximately 8 to 9 kilograms per square meter. And the flat modules are much heavier. And if you put just a flat module on a construction, well, you just need to have a more robust construction, so that costs more money. And in addition, you have the same problems as you have always with flat modules. below the flat module, there's just nothing. So that means for that kind of idea, you can use your farming land with one stripe, and then you have another stripe just to gain electricity, and then you have another stripe just for farming land. And then on the bottom, you can see our product. As I just said, it's just for dual use. You can have both at the same time. So you're just gaining electricity. On the other hand, you have just your farming land or your green building on your rooftop. So this is it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We still have 5 minutes left for Q&A. It's always great to see a fellow company from Augsburg. So maybe the first question is, why would Osram even sell such great technology in the first hand and not use it themselves?
Actually, we don't know. It's just the question whether you believe in that technology. And just a few years ago, for whatever reason, I mean, I've asked this question to our engineers many times, and they just don't know. It was just a decision made by Osram not to proceed on all the development and research on this specific technology. And our engineers, which have been basically the former engineers of Osram, just saw the big potential and just bought it. Okay.
And you just raised capital. What are the new development plans with the capital increase?
Well, actually, the capital increase will just enable us to proceed on our growth path. So this is just growth capital. It will enable us just to set up our first production line here in Augsburg, and then just to upscale our production facilities to the 250 megawatts, as I indicated. Okay. And we see a tremendous demand. I said it, and I say it again. For example, last week I had a call with Japan. So there are many foreign countries just asking for our products. For example, Japan, it's obviously an island and they have limited space, and they have a lot of farming land, a lot of agricultural business there, and there are many examples globally.
Yeah, and maybe regarding the building on farmland, can you build it high enough so that tractors can actually drive below?
Yes. Yes.
And how easy is the maintenance on the cleaning of the tubes?
First of, yes, it's that high. We will have installations we have already on hand. There will be different installations, but they will be high enough that all tractors and all just the machinery for the farming can go through 100%. And the cleaning is much easier, obviously, because when there's snow, for example, or just also rain, rain goes down with flat modules, rain pours down always at the same spot, and with our modules it just goes through. And just cleaning is also easier because you have just the tubes and then you have the free space. So there's no dirt obviously on the free space, and also on the tube it will be washed up very simply just by the rain. And also it's much better for snow. As I said, our modules are just lighter than the flat modules, and if you have in the winter, if you have snow on top of your flat modules obviously becoming even more heavier based on the snow that goes then on just on the side, it goes away, but with our modules the snow obviously will not stay very long. So these are the advantages.
Okay, so we have just 1 minute left, so let's go with 2 short questions. The first one is, how many customers belong to the before contract group? And the other question is, when will be the TÜV certification be finalized?
Yeah, to the big bucket just before contract, it's one customer, and I'm very keen to contractually agree with that customer on a long-term basis, meaning to secure just to sell them. Let me say this, just to sell them maybe a big portion of our yearly capacity just to sell to one customer. And this customer is displayed in a big bucket. And we are just in negotiations with that customer now for quite a long time. And I hope I will finalize negotiations very soon. And addressing the second question, we are just awaiting the final TÜV certification in 2 to 3 weeks. So what we have announced actually with the corporate news in February this year, it's still valid. So we just said in February we want to have TÜV certification by end of September, beginning October. And at the moment we have just green light for everything. We are just awaiting the final TÜV certification very soon to happen.
Thank you. We finished just on the dot, so thank you very much.
Thank you.